Welcome! This video helps you understand what voluntary departure is and what some of the benefits and risks are. Voluntary departure is a legal option that allows undocumented immigrants to leave the U.S. rather than being deported by immigration authorities. There are two types of voluntary departure. The first type is called pre-conclusion, which is when you ask for voluntary departure before you receive a final decision on your immigration case. Approval can be easier to get. The second type is called post-conclusion, which is when you ask for voluntary departure at the end of your immigration case. This usually means that the judge has already decided that you will not be allowed to stay in the U.S. and ordered your removal, also called deportation. Approval can be more difficult to get. In both cases, you must ask for voluntary departure directly from the judge during your court hearing. To be granted voluntary departure, you must admit to being in the U.S. without immigration documents and withdraw any application or petition for immigration benefit if one has been submitted. If approved, voluntary departure can prevent a deportation order from appearing on your record. This could make it easier for you to apply for immigration benefits, such as a visa, in the future. However, voluntary departure can also have serious negative consequences for your future immigration case. Keep listening to understand some of the risks. First, if you've been in the U.S. without papers for over a year, leaving voluntarily can trigger a 10-year ban from coming back. However, note that this does not apply to minors. If you leave the U.S. before turning 18, you will not accrue unlawful presence. Second, you may have to give up your chance to apply for asylum or other legal protections. Third, in most cases, you will need to pay for your travel back to your country of origin. And fourth, if you don't leave on time, you could face expensive fines and be barred from re-entry to the U.S. You may have heard the term self-deportation. Be careful. Although self-deportation and voluntary departure sound similar, they are not the same thing. Self-deportation is an informal term. It basically means that you leave the U.S. on your own, without getting permission from a judge. Self-deportation can have many of the same risks as voluntary departure. And on top of those risks, there is the possibility that you will end up with a removal order on your record. On May 5, 2025, President Trump announced a new self-deportation program through the CBP Home app. Immigrants who are in the U.S. without documents can use the CBP Home app to submit an intent to depart form. This program claims to offer money to help with travel expenses and a pause on enforcement actions, like detention, for those who want to self-deport or leave the country on their own. However, there is no legal guarantee the money will be delivered or that departure will be handled in a safe and humane manner. Although you may hear the words voluntary departure, this program is a form of self-deportation. This program is not the same as traditional voluntary departure granted by an immigration judge. This process is not a legal immigration benefit and does not protect your ability to return to the U.S. in the future. Talk to an immigration attorney before you make any decisions about voluntary departure or self-deportation. An attorney can help you understand your rights and how voluntary departure could affect your immigration case. Remember, don't sign anything without talking to an attorney first. And protect yourself by knowing your rights. Check out our video on knowing your rights around law enforcement to learn more.